Hey kids, welcome to Stylus Realm Gesture Time thing. We're gonna be doing more gestures. I've been just animating so much at work lately that I just want to draw all day. So even though we're not going to be animating, I don't know how long it's going to be until I'm going to do animation stuff. This is still animation related. So today we're going to do something in the gesture realm, and I call these triple gestures or triple drawings or just triple whatever. So this is some stills I've taken from a black and white film from the 30s called like a Laurel and Hardy skit, and this guy is playing checkers. So I've just taken a couple poses that are similar, so like a sequence of things where you can see a few different thoughts going on, and a couple of them, these two down the bottom, are very similar, but they have a very distinct difference. This time here, he's kind of like looking a little bit slyly and like, I'm gonna just sneak this over, and over here he's a little bit more grumpy and he's like, thinking about that. So I think it's good to search for the thing that's most relevant to what you're working on. If you're animating a boxing match, then you want to go and look at boxing poses. So find a boxing match online and take a bunch of stills from it. Take a bunch of stills from the same match. So the same character, the same person, the same personality doing a bunch of different things. And you can take as many poses as you want. 3 is kind of where I like to, 3 just feels nice, and you can do 3 across and you have three pictures. It's great. 3 is just a nice feeling number, but do as many as you need. And I really like doing this with panel shows. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I've done a number of these different ones, and I don't show every single one. I might just pick out the 4 that I think are the most fun, and I'll post those. But I think it's a really super good exercise for animators to do. So the first pass will probably look similar to my gestures I was doing last week, but hopefully a little bit better because I'm a little bit more warmed up. And I'm just going to go for basically the pose. I'm not going to exaggerate too much. I'm going to think about what's happening and just like your average 2-minute gesture. I'm going to bring the hand up onto the table because I think it looks a lot nicer. Aim for something that feels right. And this one's like an examination of what's happening. It doesn't need to look super good. It's going to be hard with this downward head, but that's why we do these, so we can practice that kind of stuff. I don't time these. If you're the type of person who you're going to start and spend a million years on it, you need a timer to prevent you from being crazy, then by all means start a timer, do a 2-minute study, or however long you feel like you're most comfortable. Like I said last week, 2 to 5 minutes is kind of my comfortable place. So I might set, say, a 3-minute timer, give me like a medium amount of time to explore the pose and a little bit of the character, and that's it. I don't want to spend too much time on details, like getting into this checkerboard or whatever. This is fine for me. Okay, so next we're going to just shove this guy over, and we're going to do the same pose again. And this time, I want to think about what I found the first time. So he's like the eye direction, he's looking down like this. This shoulder in the back is higher. So we've got this sort of thing happening. We've got this arm back here. And like I decided to bring this arm forward. I just like the look of this a little bit more. Because right here he's thinking, and I feel like if I have a little bit of a cheat where I bring the fingers up and he's thrumming his fingers, that'll be a little bit more animatically friendly. Like if I was animating this, that would look nicer. It also would give us a nice hand here in front of that because with the dark and the light, that's going to be nice as well. And this is why black and white is actually a really good thing to study, especially really old stuff like the 30s. They're very expressive and they over-exaggerate everything, especially if they're not relying on dialogue. If they're just these old slapstick guys really depend on the physical nature of what they're doing. So they're over the top. Like they're way, way more expressive than somebody nowadays who is playing chess. So let's take this one, and again, we're going to do a gesture, but we're going to cartoonize him. And if you have your own character that you're animating, you can start trying to bring in the physicality of that character. I don't have a character I'm thinking of, so what I'm going to do is just take this guy and exaggerate him in a fun way. I'm going to get that shoulder in, but I'm going to get it much higher. And we're going to bring his head down, and I'm going to bring those ears out because I think they're really good. I'm going to get rid of the Hitler mustache because I hate Nazis. And I know these guys, like this back, it was the style at the time. But the mustache is not okay anymore, guys. So if I was going to just throw these on my like sketchbook Tumblr or something, I don't want to have a bunch of Hitler mustaches on a vague character. So again, if you need a timer to keep you under control, then by all means, give yourself a timer. But I like to just kind of relaxing. This is how I relax. I do studies. Yeah, so just if you want to set yourself a timer, that's something that you can do. Maybe the first one you do 3 minutes, the second one you do 5 minutes. And if you do a third one, you could do 10 minutes, like if you wanted to really get crazy with it. And you don't need to stick to contours at all. With digital, I really like to throw in just tones. It's so easy to just lasso out a section like this and just throw some quick tone on there. Just to normal, so I can use a little bit of gray. Get some top light on there. That way you can also think about the negative shapes. Bring this across. And he's got a little bit more chest than I gave him credit for. And if you want to just use some lighter colors to get some contours in there. I like using Photoshop because X, you can switch back and forth from black to white if you have those as your default. And you can just use your opacity. So like this is 40% black. This is 90% black, or you can do whites as well, and it gives you some really fast ways to just throw in some variation. So this guy, I feel like he's gotten a little bit too thin on me, so I might take some time to bring some of that chubbiness back in there. But I feel like I've spent enough time on this. I've started to get a little bit of an idea of what I want here. I can kind of see where I want to go with it. So at this point, this is the second one. You have a choice of what you can do. Well, I mean, you have a choice every time. So what I can do is either take this and then bring the opacity down. So let me just erase it. Or you can just do another one from scratch. And I like doing 3 because that starts to get me into the place where I want to be structurally. So like the first one, like I said, I just kind of capture an overall feeling of it. The second one, I start to bring a little bit more character into it and push it a little farther. And then the third one, I can start to refine details. So I can make sure that I get a rounder face here like this. I can get that big chin in. This ear is quite big and we wouldn't see much of this side, and we're able to think a little bit about the structure and the details in this one. And sometimes I'll save all my tones for this pass. This one might be a little bit more gestural and stuff. There's no rules. I hate when people are like, this is how you do the rules of the art. That's just silly though, because there's so many ways of doing stuff. And if you do anything the same way all the time, you're never going to get any new stuff. And as well, if you, like I said, if you have a character that you are animating, you can do a quick idea just to explore it and have a little bit, because if you're just looking at it, you can explore it with your brain, but it's a little bit more fun to think about while you're drawing, I find. Then you could start looking for the character a little bit more, pushing this character, and then you can take in the character you're doing as well and try and bring the likeness of that character in there. That's another way you can do it. The idea is basically just not to settle on your first reaction. Like if you're looking for gestures for something you're working on, and you just do your first sketch and that's it, then you might be losing something that you could have gained. And you could take it as far as you want. Once I start, I get out of control. I start putting in tones. And I mean, if you don't have any goal, I mean, you could just let your ideas have their way. So you think of something that'll be kind of cool, like a top light, like do it. Like just see how this looks with like a big top light, and then putting in some real dark shadows. Make sure his mustache is a little bit more visible here, so you know it's a mustache. There you go. That back arm is not looking super fit, but that's fine. We're getting what we want. But you can see if you keep going and keep going, you're going to get more and more out of the pose every time you do it. And I like to do the same character several times in a row, because maybe now I can skip this step because I've already kind of got an idea of what he looks like, or the physicality of him. And I'm going to try pushing it a little bit more from the start. And I don't police my sizing or anything. See, this guy's already coming out a lot more fun because I've warmed up now. I'm 4 drawings in instead of 1 drawing in. So I'm starting to have a little bit more just life in this thing. And then this hand. This is a really nice little hand here. A nice subtle little idea. So you want to take a little minute just to get some of that hand story in there. Give him a little bit more of a politically correct mustache. Put him on his own layer so that I can resize them. I'm looking at my other layers. So we'll just bring in the tone. Because, oh, I love black and white films because they care so much about tone, you guys. Ooh, it's so nice. Like the way that this hand is silhouetted by all this darkness. What a beautiful little pose that is. Oh, it's so nice. So here we've got his checkerboard. This is what you do when you're just starting a project. Monday morning, especially if you haven't been drawing all weekend, you want to take this time to start waking up the creative part of you, the loosey-goosey drawing where you can really research things. And don't take number 1. Like this is, I think, is way better than the top 3 already. Like it has tons more life, just has a whole lot more going for it. But let's do it again. Let's do this pose again to see what else we can get from it. All right, so let's take this and we're gonna put it onto a new character. So let's say instead of like an rotund sort of a guy, he's more of your average hero. So he's gonna have the like Herculean style giant chest. Make sure we steal this hand because I think that started off pretty good. In order for this hand to work, we're gonna have to bring this arm out a little bit because it's coming forward quite a bit in space here. Maybe he's more sort of a Robin Hood guy. So we can give him curly chest hair, big thick neck, chunkier sort of head. I love these, like his stick outy ears. So maybe we'll bring those along. Give him a big nose that looks like it's been smashed a couple times. Maybe a little confused mouth. And we'll have him like not as much smug as actually like a little bit confused. So he's more of a gronky guy. Maybe we could give him square chin. Maybe we could give him a goatee. And like I said, he needs that curly chest hair. I think that's just necessary. Trying to count some money maybe. He's not really good at numbers. So I like these two. Like I said, this one's very similar to this one, but it's still, it's gonna force you to make subtle decisions, like bringing. So between here and here, you might have to bring this hand up like this. And maybe we could even skip this step this time and we can go straight into our gronky character, feeling a little bit more confused. Just bringing his eyebrows down and around. Nose, looking harder at it and trying to make sense of the counting, because counting is hard. And so we're just stealing the essence of what we're looking at. Even if our subjects just starts going completely off the rails, like maybe you're doing a woman, a thin woman who's trying to just like meticulously think about something, and so like this type of posing is going to work really well for you. Start very simple, what you'd normally do with your gestures. And you could even start here and do all 3 first. Just gesture out the 3 drawings. Then take it and push it farther. Then take it and push it farther and farther and farther. So I've been drawing now for 25 minutes and I've got 6 drawings. If you do this for 2 hours, by the time you are done those 2 hours, you're going to be drawing so much looser and with so much more character, and the right character, because you've got something. You're not just aimlessly drawing, which is really easy to do for 2 hours, but you're pushing yourself in a direction by using these drawing prompts and finding a character that works really well for you. So if you're doing a boxing match, find some boxers, start by drawing just your regular boxer doing your move, and by the end you're going to have a goofy boxing pose, something that's really like crazy and goofy, and get some old fisticuffs style fighting if you want to do something really ridiculous, and just keep drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing until the life starts coming out of it. Because you can see just 5 drawings in, I went from this, which is like a smooshy face, not very interesting guy, to this guy who actually has a story being told. What's this guy doing? I don't know. What's this guy doing? A whole lot more. So another one of my favorite gesture drawing exercises, quick drawing exercises that I would love for you guys to do. If you do some, tag me. I want to see all your drawings. I love drawing so much. Hopefully that's helpful. Let me know what kind of stuff you want to see coming up. I'm going to front and record a whole bunch of videos for April, because I'm going to be in Newfoundland for a while. But once I get back, so May, if you want to see specific videos for May, let me know. Because if you don't tell me, I'm just going to do whatever I want. That's fine. Thanks for dropping by. Like, share, subscribe, all those things that you know people ask you to do. And I will see you in the next video.